I'm going to come to you, Mr. Clark. Who's in charge of Washington, D.C.?
Well, Muriel Bowser is the mayor, and there's a city council, and there's a home rule statute that Congress passed.
So it would be Congress, right?
It's Congress is the ultimate backstop and control
who
over
at the time was
that.
Speaker?
I'm sorry?
Who at the time was Speaker?
Nancy Pelosi.
And does that Speaker have jurisdiction over the safety and welfare of anything in the Capitol?
Yes, the relevant committee, as I've researched it in the past, functionally reports to her.
How does a small little paragraph that was put in the NDA years ago that allows the federal government to incarcerate an American citizen without cause for any due reason, how does that affect this case?
I'm not sure I know the answer to that, Congressman, to be honest.
Well, I think it played a big part because it allows the government to detain somebody without real merit. And that was placed into an NDA bill and is still part of the process. Did Nancy Pelosi have advance warning in regards to intelligence that there was probably things happening?
My understanding is yes, Congressman. There were reports from Secret Service agents. There were DHS reports that have gotten a lot of coverage. There's a lot of advance intelligence. And indeed, there's a remarkable story that I don't think has gotten enough press in Newsweek, published on about the one-year anniversary of January 6th, which indicated that there were tactical teams, sort of the most highly trained and elite units like the hostage rescue team. They were sent to the Capitol in advance because of all of these reports by the Justice Department, by the Attorney General, the acting Attorney General, Jeff Rosen, acting individually without apparently really in a lot of coordination. It's puzzling actually why you would do that and you wouldn't have a harder security perimeter if you had those teams there on the outside to stop people from coming in the first place.
So when you look at 16 versus 20, was there a bigger presence on 16 versus 20?
It looks to me like things were locked down in 20 around the Capitol. I mean, there were those famous fences. I've seen the pictures. It looks like a military zone. It's not the kind of thing I expect in America. It reminded me actually of the time when I was in law school, you could drive past the White House. And now, that's been locked down apparently due to terrorist threats. But I thought what happened with the Capitol after, the last, in connection with the last presidential election for the inauguration was true overreach and overreaction.
So Ms. Pelosi had the ability to take that information and put it to good work. But she turned down National Guard and additional Capitol Police, did she not?
Yes, she turned it down, and Muriel Bowser, the mayor, turned it down as well.
And who did she have a meeting with in regards to the military?
I'm not recalling precisely who she
General
met
Milley.
with. General Milley?
General Milley's made some incriminating comments.
You've reminded me of that. Yes, I remember.
Can you expound on that?
Well, I mean, it seemed to me that General Milley was engaged in conduct that is shocking. I mean, him coming, his commander-in-chief was Donald Trump at the time. He is coming and basically indicating that, he's willing to work with Pelosi to engage as a safeguard against Donald Trump. And we know, even though the second impeachment against Donald Trump tried to cut short what his speech was and present it as if he was urging people to violently attack the Capitol, that he actually told people to march peacefully and patriotically. So General Milley had to have been aware of all of that and been aware of what was being said in internal meetings, and yet he pretended as if Donald Trump was some kind of threat, Congressman.
So let me ask you this. Ms. Pelosi made this comment that President Trump has a right to a trial to prove his innocence. This is exactly what's transpired with anybody that was arrested on J6.
This is an inversion of our system, right? We have a presumption of innocence. And indeed, I heard this from Benny Thompson, who we've talked about as the chair of this wayward and lawless January 6th Select Committee, After because I realized that they were, lining me up as one target in their hearings, I refused. I had initially refused based on executive privilege, which I was instructed to take and invoke, on law enforcement privilege, which the Justice Department instructed me to invoke, on lawyer-client privilege. You name it. The January 6th committee rejected it. I could see where they were headed, so I took the Fifth Amendment privilege, which the innocent under Supreme Court case law are entitled to take as well. Benny didn't stop Benny Thompson, the chairman. He went on MSNBC with Rachel Maddow, and he said that if you take the Fifth Amendment, that's part and parcel of being guilty. So this is the mindset of these folks that we face. I think that Benny Thompson and Nancy Pelosi are of a piece.
So I'm going to leave with one last comment. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Somebody made the comment that this was acts against democracy, and that would be against the people. So to me, it seems like we ought to turn the people loose in regards to all videos being accessible to all members of the United States, and to help us find those people undercover, whether it be Antifa, FBI, whatever. That's the only way we're going to get to the bottom of this. Thank you.